independent as they want. I don't know one woman ever that women could be like as like independent as they want. I don't know one woman ever that I've talked to that's been like, you want to split rent? You want to split the bills? Like that's not how it works. That's just not natural. That's not how it's like. Women are their best versions of themselves when they're allowed to express who they are and be who they are. When they have to step into a masculine role, like protecting and providing and having to do all this shit.
Some relationships do work where they both contribute to the rent because, you know, rent is increasing and people, you know, they have to do what they can.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it for survival, but I do think as a man, you should be striving. Let's say tomorrow everything goes away and knock on wood, it's never going to happen.
I'm like,
we have to
like, Jesus, please.
Baby, I need your help with rent this month. There's nothing wrong with that because shit happens. It's life. I get it. But if I'm not trying to get to a point where I could take care of it, then it's like you gotta
exactly. I feel like the man should always aspire to be the sole provider.
Women could be.
What's going on, y'all? Nick here, coming to y'all with another video. So this one is interesting because, you know, and my apology, I'm with my brother.
Nah, it's cool. You could go straight into it. This is James Eugene. Welcome to the Eugene Brothers Show. Yeah, this one you said you feel a type of way about this video.
Yeah, because this right here, this rhetoric where this guy is saying that men should be the sole provider has been something that we probably heard many people say in times past. I'm not necessarily against it, but in particular, this topic is, should men in their 20s be expected to provide for a woman? There's a famous TikTok video that's going viral right now, so I kind of want to play it and let's see what this fella is saying. But let's check this out.
Yeah, but before you speak, do you agree with the person and the woman, especially in this context, in this day and age, 2025, where a lot of, with the feminist movement, with red pill, with the economy being this way,
tomorrow
everything goes agree with this rhetoric?
Do I agree with this rhetoric? Honestly, bro, no. Yes and no. I do believe the guy was right in a sense where he said that, you know, there's nothing wrong with you asking for your women to help out, but they should strive to get to a point where they can hold it down on their own. And I think a big part of me that believes this way is because there are factors such as like pregnancy, where sometimes your woman is not able to work anyway. And that man, you know, he's still expected to go to work, right? So I think that's where it stems from. However, I think in context of what we're going to discuss, men in their 20s providing for a woman, and I don't want to go too deep, but I think that's a very slippery slope. What about you?
There's a pink elephant in the room, and there's a stuff that's being brushed underneath the carpet, because everybody keeps saying that a man needs to be a provider, a man needs to be a provider, but yet women, when you ask women what they're expected to do if men is providing everything, they go silent. All of a sudden there's crickets. All of a sudden they act dumb. They don't know what to do. It's like a man's money belongs to a woman, and then the woman, what do they do in return? You see, they want the soft life, right? Because they don't want to pay bills. They want the man to pay 100% of the final responsibility, the financial responsibility. But you never hear what women will do in return. You never hear that. And this is probably why these conversations get stale, and these conversations reveal the selfishness of many people.
Yeah. But let's get into it, man. Let's check out what this fella has to say over here.
No young man in their early 20s should be prioritizing paying all of the bills. I personally feel that no young man in their early 20s should be prioritizing paying all of the bills in the home that they live in with their girlfriend. I personally feel privileges like that are things that you discuss when you're on the edge of marriage and when you're actually married. I will be teaching my sons that they should prioritize their single life, their career development, locking in good mental and physical health routines, and enjoying living alone first. That's something that I never experienced, living alone, right? I went from my childhood home to living with my girlfriend, right? And my wife never put any type of pressure on me in regards to paying all of the bills. This was just something that I saw growing up. My father was a man who paid all the bills. My grandfather was a man who paid all the bills. So it was always in the back of my mind that one day, if I could, that would be something that I would be interested in moving towards. But my wife never put that type of pressure on me, right? I wasn't even financially able to do that until I was 30, 31 years old. I'm about to be 36 soon. I've been living with my wife since I was 24 years old. Had my wife put pressure on me to pay all of the bills at 24, 25 years old, 26 years old, we wouldn't be together because I literally could not do it. I could not do it. And if I'm being honest, most men will never, in 2025, 2026, most men will never even be able to cover all the bills. It's too expensive.
So before I go any further, bro, like, what's your thoughts on that?
No, this is exactly what I said in the beginning. Like the advice that the previous man said, I have no issues with what he says, but these things are circumstantial. I said in today's economy, in 2025, with all these movements like feminism, red pill, with all this social tension between men and women, it becomes illogical, right? If women are working, why should the men pay all the bills? It reveals some sort of selfishness there. Why not pay 50-50 or 60-40 or 70-30, however you split the bills, right? And another thing that he said makes absolutely, especially when we talk about inflation, when we talk about the economy, we're going through, like, sometimes we go through recessions and depressions. It makes no sense to ask the man to be the sole provider. And like, everybody is so quick to understand what a man is supposed to do. Oh, this is what a real man is. This is what a real man does. But then what is the woman doing in return? This is the question that we got to ask, especially if she has a job, right? If she doesn't want to work, then it's easier for a man to be a provider. But if she is working, then why not pay 50-50? Why is that mindset so off, right? Why do people feel some type of way when you mention 50-50? Ain't it supposed to be a teamwork, a partnership, right? And another thing that
Kevin Samuels don't believe in partnership.
whatever the case may be, right? Another thing too, what he said is he doesn't believe in that until they got married, which I absolutely agree. Like, if you're single, you shouldn't be paying anybody's bills. You should be focusing on yourself until you have a wife. Then I can understand a man paying all the bills. But even then, during that process, it's just like, what do women want to do?
Yeah, you have Shepherd 2833 say, unless she is loyal, and a virgin, she ain't getting shit. Yeah, it's interesting, man. Honestly, as I'm listening to this, again, the caveat: a man in their 20s, if you ain't married, I'm not even gonna be long. Why the fuck are you paying all the stuff for this woman? Like, she's a grown ass adult. Like, she should, if y'all not married, y'all shouldn't even be living with each other any damn way. Let her ass stay in her father's house. Why are you putting yourself in a financial hole to take care of a whole big human? That's not even economically smart in 2025. Some of y'all men just really need to, like, slow the hell down. And that's why I played the first clip, because it's just like, where did it even come from in the first place? There's this notion that the man has to be the sole provider, And I don't know where it's coming from. Even when we grew up, right? Our mother worked. You know what I'm saying? And it was. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, she worked, and just because your woman work, that if she's a good woman, that doesn't mean she's gonna buck up to you. That doesn't mean she's gonna somehow belittle you as the man. Like our mother respected our father. You know what I'm saying? So this idea that the man has to be the only provider, and like you said, I made a joke when I mentioned Kevin Samuel. I don't subscribe to what he says, but yeah, it should be some level of partnership. It is a team, right? Teamwork makes the dream work. So why the hell are you? And here's the thing, right? If she is working and she's not contributing no damn way at all, like if she's not going to contribute to bills, let her put her money in some investment. You get what I'm saying? Make her do something. Let her do something
for rainy days, right?
Yeah, like
if that's a good idea.
Yeah, but let's go back. Just
also, I
teaching my
want to
sons
say,
to
hold on, let's play this real quick.
be leaders and providers, but not that they have to follow some crazy social media rhetoric that has been pumped onto our society the past 3 to 4 or 5 years. I'm teaching my sons, if you find a girl and you move in with a girl at 23, 24, 25 years old, and she's telling you that you need to pay all the run. Now, if you're with this girl for some years, you guys are getting to know each other, that you're moving towards marriage, you want to marry this woman, have a family with this woman, then y'all start having a discussion. Is it even possible between the two of us? And then when I do this, what are you going to do with your money? Do you plan on working? Do you plan on being a stay-at-home mom? Have the full conversation. You're a partner. You're a leader in this household. That's what you are. And this is coming from a man who pays all the bills in his home. But I worked towards that. There also was no pressure towards that. And it was something that I just naturally felt like I wanted to do for my wife. That's how we got here. It's not because of social media. It's not because I'm a man and I'm supposed to do this. No. Do you know that most men don't even reach their highest earning potential until they're like 45 to 50 years old? And then you got women out here who are 22, 23 years old, putting pressure on their 23, 24-year-old boyfriends to pay for everything. That's not realistic.
This is why a lot of these younger women date older men.
Ooh, come on.
You see? Because look,
there's a lot of the young boys out now.
Hey, you know what? Somebody once told me it's not your time. Somebody once told me that it's not your time. So we all have our moments and we all have our times, right? That's what somebody told me. So if women in their 20s want their boyfriends in their 20s to pay for everything and they can't, do you see why our society is the way it is? Like we act dumbfounded and confused as to why society looks this way. It's because we operate this way. Duh. If you want a guy to pay for everything that you want and his financial peak is at 50, this is why women date older men.
And what you're saying is so true, bro. Because think about it. Now you got these younger dudes. They feel the pressure to try to compete with dudes in their 50s, their 30s, 40s, 50s. No, you're right. How? The majority, not all, right? There's some dudes in their 20s that's crushing it, but by and large, majority of men, they don't reach their financial peak until, like the man said, in 40s, 50s. At that point in time, homie, you're going to lose this game. You're going to lose this game. When you got a dude that got his own house, own car, has the ability to travel, have the ability to do all these things, homie, you finna lose. And just like you said, whoever gave you that advice, James, they were right. Homie, it's not your time.
Not only that, it's just like you're competing with a person that had a head start. It's impossible for you to catch up. If a dude is
impossible,
no, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but it's very difficult for you to catch up. Yeah. Think about it. Okay, if somebody is 60 years old, they've had at least 30 more years of experience than we have. How can we make that up? How can we close the gap? We would have to have that same equal amount of time to even close the gap. And even then, it's still impossible because he still learned something else, or he's still doing something else. And my last point is, does the Bible even talk about 50-50? Does the Bible says the man got to pay for everything? We're a Christian nation, right? We're biblical people, right? Supposedly, America is a biblical country. Does the Bible even talk about, yo, the man, you got to pay for everything, and your woman, she don't got to pay for squat? Does it speak
You know,
like that?
no, you're right, bro. Because this is the kind of stuff like I constantly bring up the book of Tobit, which many people, y'all should really read that book. For those of you who claim y'all Christian, but in the book of Tobit, Tobit lost his eyesight, and they said his wife did woman's work. Like this is what I'm saying. It's like I don't understand. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe that it is good for a man to strive to be able to pay everything because again, like when she's pregnant, right, and she got to tap out anyway, then of course the financial load is going to fall on you. But it's just common sense that if you got two incomes coming into the house, then you finna go even that much further in life. You get what I'm saying? Like, why are you putting this burden on you? And I like what what this dude said. By the way, all the dudes that we listen to, everybody that's speaking here, we leave the video, we give them credit in the description section down below. So check it out. But this guy over here, what he was saying made a lot of sense because it's just like his wife never even put that pressure on him. So if you're dealing with a woman that's putting this pressure, like, oh, you gotta provide and you gotta do this, then you probably should go the other direction, right?
Mhm. What happens if you don't? What happens if something happens to you as a man?
But this is what I'm saying. That's why I brought up the book of Tobit.
Right.
Like that's the thing. Like your woman should hold you down, right? Like you said, it should be a partnership. This idea that the guy has to be the soul, and also too, you see, I think the problem with that rhetoric too is that if the guy does fall short, this is why we have a generation where people they judge you on the sole basis of your finance,
So
right?
Nick, let me ask you this. Do you think women are capable of paying 100% of the bills while the man is, I don't know, maybe incapacitated for that moment?
I think only a good woman is.
Mm.
I think only a good woman is. I know many accounts where I've heard women, support their man. Good women, by the way, not these women today, right? Social media like to call them modern women, feminist women, whatever you want to call them. But like the women today, no. But back in the day, I used to hear all the time: husband lost their job, the woman held them down, or the woman helped their man elevate and get another job. You get what I'm saying? Go back to school. I've heard these accounts. So I think that's another thing too, right? It's like social media always paints it like there's only one type of woman out there, or there's only one type of dude out there. It's like crazy. Um, but I do want to kind of show this next video. Check this out.
Drag my balls across the desert with two fat bitches on my back. Than to be a provider man. If you're dating a grown woman with a full-time job and she makes you pay all the bills, that bitch hates you. Niggas out here chasing women to pay their bills. Y'all niggas have no self-respect. Sprinting after debt is crazy. You niggas is slow. I heard a homeless woman say niggas can't get a free meal on their birthday. I'm assuming she homeless because you can't take your nigga out for his birthday. You gotta be struggling. There's no way you love your partner treating them like that. It just don't make sense to me. Some women genuinely believe being with a man is doing them a favor. I would never fall for the propaganda. Also, who told y'all niggas want to provide? Men don't want to provide, not me. Being with a woman that expects you to take on all the debt but want all the assets just does not sound like something I want to do. Also, being a provider man in 2025 is not the same as 1920. My grandpa was not buying these bitches Birkins. They was not paying for car notes, not insurance, not BBLs, not lip injections. My grandpa paid for the roof over their head, food, and clothes. That's it. One car. I gotta buy a bitch an AMG, or I'm not a provider man, or I'm broke. No, not me. I was talking to a girl. She said she want me to put all the assets in her name, but I have to pay all the debt off. I buy a house, put it in her name, but pay the house off myself. Fuck,
That's crazy.
pussy. The ROI on that is insane, nigga. If I want a good return on my investment, I'm going to Figueroa, the Blade. I'd rather
Wow. And this is crazy out here, right? Like this is the kind of stuff that and he was cooking. He was saying that men back in the day, the only thing they were expected to provide was food, clothing, right? And you know the thing that's interesting about that is that's literally what the Bible said, right? Like the only thing that's expected out of that man, right, to provide for a woman is food, clothing, and duties of marriage, which means conjugal rights, sex, right? That's all. But he's right. He brought up the whole like Birkin bag, and you know you got to buy them these fancy things, and like, and if you don't do that, all of a sudden you labeled as he a brokey, he's trash, he's not a provider, he's not all these disparaging names. But wow, uh, let's see. There's this brother over here too. Let's check out what he has
I
to
made a
say.
video saying that a man in his early 20s and even late 20s shouldn't be the sole provider for a stay-at-home girlfriend. And I got a lot of stay-at-home girlfriends mad at me. They're saying things like, well, he can afford it. He makes this amount of money and we're good. He wants to do it. Y'all are just selfish. Y'all are selfish bums. I'm gonna be real with you. Y'all aren't married. Y'all don't have any kids. You're both 20, or he's 23 and you're 20, or he's 25 and you're 25. Like whatever. Y'all been dating a year, then you just move in and you don't even want to contribute. You don't feel the need to contribute. You don't have any goals or aspirations. That's bum activity. That's incredibly selfish of you, no matter how much money he makes.
And let's talk about it real quick. Like, women should now, granted, this video I think for the most part we're like addressing men, but I think both men and women can learn from this video. Like, is a woman a bum because she has no aspirations? Like, she wants to be with a man that got it all together, and she has no personal aspiration. Like, what say you, James?
Is it okay? A man with no aspirations. What do we call him? A man with no dreams, no ambition, no aspirations. What do we call him?
A bum, right?
Okay. So why sugarcoat it for women? Why, you have no dreams whatsoever? You have no goals whatsoever?
Can I push back? Can I push back just a bit? All right, because biblically, right? Didn't it say that a woman, your desire should be unto your husband, and he shall rule over you? So, like, if this was said ever since Genesis 3, and I'm saying this for a reason, because I'm not necessarily saying she's a bum or not. I'm just saying that I think there's an idea out there, these like traditional trad couples, whatever you want to call them, like the idea is that the woman should just submit and be on the mission of the man. That she shouldn't really necessarily need to have an ambition. Her desire should just be to kind of lift up her man. Like, so do you think that's where it comes from?
Yeah, but women don't do that. They desire money. They desire they don't desire the man. They desire the finances because they want to have some sort of freedom too. They want the ceremonial marriage because it's nice, but they still want to do whatever the hell they want because they want freedom, right? They don't want to be told no. And I've seen this. I've seen like a video where this guy asks a whole bunch of women, do you want a guy who tells you yes all the time, or a guy who says yes 70% of the time, but no 30% of the time? And majority of them, there was like I'm a ballpark it. It was like maybe a good 10 of them, and one of them said, I would prefer the guy who told me yes 70% of the time and no 30% of the time. But everybody else said, I'll prefer the man who tells me yes. And mind you, the question was, do you prefer a married man who told you yes all the time, or have your own boyfriend that told you 70% of the time yes and 30% of the time no? And they all chose the married man, which means they were willing to commit adultery just because they want yes men and to have their way.
Yeah. So, bro, honestly, it's kind of weird because I guess going back to the bigger point, which is that a woman, man, all right, you men out there, if you're with a woman, should you look for a woman that actually has drive and ambition? It's a very slippery slope, a very slippery slope, because I do believe to an extent, and I want to say this and I hope y'all not misinterpreting my words, because to one end, I think a woman should have a drive and ambition. But to another extent, just know what that comes with, because that's usually going to come with a woman that probably is going to, pursue education and put, her career first and all that stuff, because she has that drive. So finding a woman that has that balance where it's just like, no, I'm going to elevate myself, but I can also try to elevate my man. That's what I'm saying. It's very tough to find that balance.
But okay, there's nothing wrong with the drive and ambition, but it could be towards becoming a better cook. It could be maybe knitting. You want to do knitting skills or sewing, right? It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be something extravagant. It could be something as simple as, I don't know, maybe becoming a better teacher to your children. It could be being a better whatever. I don't know. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to go outside and earn money, that type of drive. But it could be the drive of just being a better wife or a better mother.
So let's hear it in context of what he was saying. Let me go back real quick.
A man's 20s, 23 and you're 20, or he's 25 and you're 25, like whatever. Y'all been dating a year, then you just move in and you don't even want to contribute. You don't feel the need to contribute. You don't have any goals or aspirations. That's bum activity. That's incredibly selfish of you, no matter how much money he makes. A man's 20s is supposed to be used to build himself up and build a foundation, not to be providing for you like he's your daddy. And he's just as dumb for putting up with it and even encouraging it if he is. I'm not going to show her account, but one of the girls that commented, I went to her page. She said this is her and her man's situation. They're like 2021, like she's in nursing school and he's funding her life or whatever the heck, right? Like her first video is that she can't cook. Imagine you being 21 years old, funding another human being's life that you've only been with like for a year, acting like they dad, but you know what I'm saying, by taking care of them, and she can't even cook you a hot meal. That's crazy. You putting her through school and she can't even cook. Don't even care to learn. Y'all tripping. Y'all, please, man, don't fall for this. Y'all tripping.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Hey, man, at least have some sort of skills. Like if and this is a fair dynamic. Like if the man is paying 100% of the bills, he's paying the light bill, the water bill, the cable, he's paying the TV, whatever, he's paying the house, the rent, maybe the car note, and you don't know how to cook. Well,
shout out to those 20-year-olds that's doing that though. Like if you 20 years old and you doing that, like I ain't gonna lie, you cooking right now, but you actually pretty slow. Like I can't believe you could be so smart and yet so dumb. You to be making that type of money in your 20s where you could provide for all these things, right? But then for you to actually get finessed by this woman that's telling you that you got to fund her way through school and you got to be her daddy, like this is where you lost me.
So now he's got to pay for food too. That's even more. That's even more of a bill. Do they have to eat every single night? That's crazy.
You know what's crazy, bro? I think what's crazy is that a lot of these skills that you're talking about, like the whole, cooking, cleaning, like these are skills. Believe it or not, it shouldn't take a woman that long to obtain those skills. Like it kind of makes me wonder, what were you doing all your life? You get what I'm saying? And then we could probably maybe make some insinuations about the parents too, but like what were they pouring into you? Because like to cook and clean, like these are skills that our parents were teaching us well before our 20s. Like you should just know how to survive. So now, and so I don't understand. You didn't learn how to survive, but you got saddled up with a boyfriend. That's what I'm saying. This thing right here, I know we going almost 30 minutes. We shouldn't have taken this long. Like you're not married. Why are you putting this husband obligation on yourself? Like that is truly stupid for all the fellas that's doing that. Like, you put a husband responsibility on yourself. It said that when a man should leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife. You don't even got the this woman doesn't even want to give you the status of wife, and vice versa. You don't got the status of husband, so yet you're doing these things. Like, man, you're incredibly dumb if you fall for this. The man, going back to him, and again, we're gonna give all the credit down below in the description section. So check out their channels when you get a chance. But it's like, this man was absolutely right. Your 20s should absolutely be used to actually acquire as much skills, resources, knowledge as possible to set yourself up for the future. And I want to land a plane on this. I would venture to say that a lot of men actually shouldn't even leave their parents' house. Like, all this rhetoric about, oh, you should leave home and start on. That's stupidness. That's the worldly wisdom that they people fall for, and you're never gonna get ahead. If you're not married, man and woman, stay with your parents. If you don't like the things that they gotta say, I get it, but it won't last forever. Stay with your parents. You know why? Because it's better to stack up your paper than going out there. When you get married, you're going to be grateful that you had all these years of resources that you never had to tap into. Even if you help your parents out. Even if your parents say, look, you're starting to get older. How about you help out with some of the bills? Those bills would never compare to if you were doing it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Never. They probably asking you for a couple of hundred over here, over there. They probably might say, okay, you know what? We'll give you the responsibility of just the cable bill. That might cost you like 200 tops. Not even 200 tops. Even if you're working, I want y'all to think about this. Even if you're working a minimum wage job, listen to what I'm saying. You could at least stack up $2,000 in that month.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got to give $200 to your parents, you have $1,800. Could you imagine over years of investing that? Before you get married and move out, you finna be balling. But these are the kind of things, again, you stupid because you listen to the rhetoric. I want to leave my parents' house because you can't endure some correction, right? You want to feel like you the big, you want to act like you that dude. All right, go out there. And now in New York, a 1-bedroom house is $1,800. All right, y'all. But you think you cooking with that? The most majority of your paycheck is gone. And then now, this is how people live paycheck to paycheck. And they can't work together. You can't even work with your own parents, but you want to work and finance a whole woman's life. And this woman, according to the topic of discussion today, she don't want to contribute to nothing.
Like, sometimes I think people don't really understand mathematics, like simple addition.
Yep.
It's just like, okay, you have one paycheck, 2 paychecks makes more money.
Oh,
you
really?
You can save more money to get a better house, a better car. Simple mathematics, man.
They
I don't know. Yes, because the way our society is run is based on stupidity. That's the best word. That's the best way to do it, because our ancestors lived a much simpler life with less headaches because they did things very pragmatic. They did things the right way, the pragmatic way. But now we're sold under civilization, and look at all the ways we've done. It's like we have a million ways to die.
Whew. Anyway,
Can you imagine dying by stress?
hey, bro. I mean, the blue zones that we were covering the other day, the areas in the world where people live the longest. One of the common reasons why people live the longest is because they're actually stress free. They remove stress out of their life. And these young men today, again, I'll shout out to that dude who told you that wisdom. It's not your time. Some of these dudes who just want to grow up too fast.
It's actually a woman that said that.
Wisdom is wisdom.
Yeah.
Shout out to the person that gave you that wisdom, because again, some of these fellas want to grow up entirely too fast. Look, fellas, you're not any less than. Let me get closer. You're not any less than if you're not financially ready. It doesn't make you less than a man. It doesn't make you incompetent. It's just not your time. How about you invest in yourself? Because that's the operative thing that you need to do. Invest in yourself first. Pour into yourself first. An empty cup cannot pour anything out.
Good.
Pour into yourself first. Get yourself ready before you get that woman. Because again, when you have a wife, eventually kids come in the situation. Oh, look! I don't care how much nookie you're getting. I don't care how much punani you get. I don't care how fat that ass is. It's not gonna stop that child from crying when it's hungry.
Or
It's not
getting
gonna
sick.
It's not gonna make the house any warmer when it's wintertime. You gotta
Mhm.
pay those bills. You gotta take care of your responsibility, and that requires finances. A lot of
That's
these brothers, they so quick. Kevin Samuel said that, like, they trying to become a man through their dick. Slow the hell down. Financing another woman's life, and especially a woman that doesn't have just the decency to know that she needs to actually have some type of drive, some type of ambition.
Mhm.
And like the guy said, if she's not going to contribute financially, what areas will she contribute to make your life easier?
Mhm.
Because if this girl, you just want you to finance her entire life, and on top of that, she's like, nah, I don't want to take care of the children. How about you put them in daycare? Or I don't want to cook. How about you buy food? Like, do you see how your money is just constantly getting out of your pocket? It's not wise. But that's the last thing I gotta say. I don't know if you got any final words, James.
No, I think you said it all. I really like the talking point where you mentioned, stay at home. Sometimes we forget that, that village model is actually beneficial. Everybody is out for self, doing things on their own, but that village model is very beneficial because not only do you have two incomes, you have three, four, five. You can buy land, create multiple houses on that land. We've been sold a lie. This is I wouldn't be surprised if civilization itself is like the Matrix, and actually living in nature is actually the real reality. I wouldn't be surprised, man. I'm serious.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, if y'all like videos like this, please like, subscribe, comment down below. Please support the Eugene Brothers, the Super Eugene Bros channel. I put the link in the description down below. Crazy Gardeners, you came just in time. My wife brings in the money. I build the houses and plant the orchard. That's what's up, man. Hey, teamwork.
Teamwork
Yeah,
makes the dream work.
yeah. Please support the Super Eugene Brothers. We're trying to get to at least 50 so that we can actually start live. Going live on that channel. And also, too, you guys, we did leave the link to all the people that spoke today. Please support their channels as well. But anyway, with that being said, y'all, Nick, James, over and out. Yeshua is king, y'all.
Subscribe and hype it up. Hype me